Once upon a time, in a small African kingdom called Adano, there was a long-standing tradition of exchanging virgins for war. When the neighboring kingdom of Umoki would threaten war, the king of Adano kingdom would offer up a virgin as a symbol of peace. One year, when war was imminent, the king of Adano kingdom decided to offer his own daughter, Adia, as a virgin exchange. Adia was a beautiful and kind-hearted girl that was loved by all who knew her. She often helped the less privileged, and when she was offered that way, many of the citizens were disappointed. As Adia was being taken away to Umoke, those who loved her and knew her words were crying and waving her goodbye. Adia was sad to see all the people she loved fading away into the distance. She cried a lot and was deeply saddened and hurt by the tradition of exchanging virgins for war, and the fact that she was a chosen symbol of peace. She was disappointed in her father for giving her out as a virgin exchange for war, like a mere yam being thrown to the goats. Adia was taken to Moke kingdom to be married off to the prince and heir apparent of the land. But things did not work as planned. The prince was cruel and selfish. He treated Adia poorly, using her as a pawn in his own games of power. The prince's father, the king, often chastised him on the dirty attitude he often displayed. One day, while the prince was busy taunting Adia, he did not know his father was somewhere nearby watching him. He told Adia to dance and shake her waist in the presence of his friends, and Adia did so. The prince called her that she should start dancing around the hall, running and stooping before him. He now told her to run again towards him and do all things that a princess could not do and would not do. When Adia refused to obey him, he shouted at her, "You virgin, used for war exchange, trying to disobey me?" Adia was confused. Adia was looking at him and crying. "Get on your knees," the prince commanded. But Adia raised up her head boldly, looked the prince in the eyes, and said, "No, my prince. I'm a princess by birth in my father's kingdom and cannot be ordered demeaningly in such a manner to kneel before you in presence of others in such a manner." The prince was furious. "How dare you disobey me?" he exclaimed. And the prince gave her a hot and dirty slap on her cheek. The slap was so severe that Adia reeled and almost fell on the ground, but for the timely intervention of the king. The king darted forward and grabbed Adia before she could fall to the ground. And the king looked at Adia, and Adia was surprised. She had not even fallen on the ground after such a hard slap. She looked into the king's eyes in surprise. The king was drawn instantly to her and he felt a wave of pity mixed with love and the urge to protect her surged through him. The king was a wise and compassionate man who saw the beauty in people, and he saw the beauty and goodness in Adia. He was touched by her courage to withstand his arrogant and mannerless son. And as he saw her look into his eyes, he felt something that he did not understand at all. Can this be love? He asked himself, with feelings that he could not understand, ashamed of himself because he was by far older than Adia. Adia felt and saw the look of pity and compassion that crossed the king's eyes and warmed up to it. She needed it at least. She began to cry. She felt soft at the look in the king's eyes. Can I have some sympathy in this man, in this kingdom? Because she had no one in the kingdom to turn to. She was like a total stranger. The next day, the king forbade his son, the prince, from going close to Adia again. And as time went by, he began to spend more time with Adia. He made her comfortable and happy. They fell in love, and the king decided to marry Adia instead of his son. The age gap was much, but Adia felt it was better to marry this compassionate old king than to marry a young, heartless fellow. At least the man will love her and take care of her like a father. The prince was furious, but there was nothing he could do. His father was the king, and his words were final. Moreover, he was incapable of taking Adia as a wife due to his unruly behavior. He had lost it. The king knew it was forbidden for him to marry Adia because she was promised to his son. But he could not resist the pull of his heart and made the bold decision to marry Adia, defying tradition and risking war with the other kingdom of Adano. Fortunately for the king, the prince realized there was nothing he could do. Otherwise, he would lose his rights as a heir to the throne. I cannot lose my inheritance because of a mere woman, a girl for that matter. Anyway, I don't even like her. She's an exchange for war, and I cannot take such. I need to pick my bride myself, the prince boasted. But destiny was already taking its toll. The king married Adia as his second wife. And fortunately also, Adia's father's kingdom of Adano did not take offense at all. The king of Adano had already heard tales about the prince of Umoki, had been wishing for them not to marry. So he was very happy when he learned that the king had decided to take his daughter as a second wife. The king of Umoki, in order to make Adia happy, stopped the tradition of a virgin exchange at war. And that made Adia very happy because she knew no other girl would suffer the fate she had just suffered. And the kingdom of Adano, they were all very happy to know that their daughters were now safe from war exchange. Adano became a very, very happy kingdom, and the king was very proud of himself that his daughter Adia had brought joy to other women in his kingdom. And they decided to name parts of the kingdom after Adia. Adia was happy that her goodness did not go in vain, and the people who loved Adia were happy that Adia had brought them grace and she did not bring them bad luck at last. So Adia and the king got married and they lived happily together. That is the end of the story. Please subscribe and share my videos to others so that we can get more views and exposure. Share to groups that may be interested in listening to African traditional stories. Thanks for watching.